Hello and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United have just blown top four as far as I'm concerned, and it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying, that 1-1 draw with Everton at Goodison Park, for the simple reason that I just don't know, what are we learning? What are we learning as a club? Arsenal very recently dominate possession, and we sit back and allow Arsenal to get a point from a game that we should have won. And then today, we're watching the game on the watch along. You're all watching it wherever you're watching it, with us or not. I wouldn't say we dominated Everton, but we had that performance in the palm of our hands. We weren't really giving that much away. And he goes and makes a defensive substitution by taking Mkhitaryan off and Fellaini. And everybody is saying, what the hell is he doing making that substitution? Fellaini is slow. Fellaini is bad with the ball at his feet, and he's not particularly good in the air. And if Eric Bailly is fit enough to be on the bench, then Eric Bailly is the substitution to make if you're going to sit back anyway, which I personally don't think we should ever do. I don't think that team is good enough to get a clean sheet. And I know Mourinho's got an obsession with protecting what he's got, but he hasn't got the players to protect it at the moment. I think they probably would have got it. I think we would have seen Everton off, but that substitution for Fellaini was bordering on suicide. It was criminal. Fellaini is an awful footballer who should never be in a Manchester United shirt. He is a Jonah. He inflicts bad luck on us, and I don't want him anywhere near us. And I've been consistent about that for a long, long time. But what terrified me today, and what I cannot move away from, is as bad as Fellaini is, he doesn't put himself on the pitch with 5 minutes to go. The manager does, and that terrifies me, because I think Mourinho is the right man for the job. But that performance today was so good. It was so hard worked. And it involved some really good performances. I thought Anthony Martial played really well. I know he went off towards the end, but he worked hard. He always wanted the ball. He set the goal up for Zlatan. And at Everton, you're going to have to go to places away from home in the Premier League and work really hard. And we did that today. You know, you're not going to dominate possession and win games 3 or 4-0 away from home. So we worked hard. We got the performance done. And then with 5 minutes late, he just handed it up on a plate. He handed it up on a plate. And whether you're for Mourinho or not, which I am, and I know some people will be not after that performance, that substitution is down to the manager. He made it. There can be no sympathy. There can be no excuses when he's flapping his hand up in the air about what was a Stonewall penalty. I don't think the referee played was that good today, but that was a Stonewall penalty. He can have no complaints. What can he do? You made the substitution. You can't throw Fellaini under a bus because you had Bailly there. I tell you what, Jose, here's a novel idea for you. Don't even put the clown on the bench in the first place. Put Schweinsteiger on there. Put Schneiderlin on there. Put people who are better than him on the bench, so you can't make stupid decisions like you've just made. That is a stupid decision. And don't come at me and say, oh, I thought you supported Mourinho. I do. I 100% support the manager. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to highlight what was an absolutely flabbergasting, mind-bogglingly stupid decision that no Manchester United fan would make. And I said this last season, and I'll say it to you again now. Don't diss or put your opinion down as a Manchester United football fan, ever. And especially not after today. Last season, we had you all there saying, oh, Van Gaal gets played more than you, Mark. He gets paid more than all these fans who say he doesn't know what he's on about. Well, we were all proved right on that one. And I tell you what, there's no Manchester United fan out there that I know, and I'd be amazed if there are any, in fact, who would say bringing Fellaini on was a good idea with 5 minutes to go. They wouldn't. But our manager, who gets paid millions of pounds a year, has just gone and exposed himself massively. And he deserves the criticism today on that point. I thought up until then, the performance was brilliant. It was hard-working. It was the right 11 to pick. And we had it. We had that chance, that slim chance that we were all on about today. By hook or by crook, we had to win that game today. And we were going to do it. And then for some reason, some mad reason that every bitter rival or everybody who hates Manchester United will have had a good old laugh about, for some mad reason, he brings Krusty the Clown, the tree or whatever he is, onto the pitch and allows him to go near the penalty box, and then he just gives a Stonewall penalty away. It is madness. There is no defending that decision. It was stupidity at the highest level. And I will not and cannot, and I don't think anybody else can defend him for that, because there is no logic to it. I'm sort of raw trying to find some logic for it now. Even taking Mkhitaryan off, which I didn't really agree with, I thought, well, if you're going to go defensive, I can see what he's doing with that. But bringing Fellaini on, I don't understand it. Bring Bailly on if you want to defend the high ball. Bring Blind on if you want somebody to get hold of the ball and pass it. But bring Fellaini on, who's slow, rubbish with the ball at his feet, not particularly good in the air. And of course, the creme de la creme, the cherry on the cake was, as with Arsenal, there are still a few minutes left in the game afterwards. But we can't go gung-ho and get the win because we've already made that stupid decision to sit back and defend the one goal. And then when they get the one goal, we've got nowhere to go. Everton could have nicked it. Ridiculous. Absolutely stupid. Absolutely stupid. People will say, surely we're going to sell Fellaini now. I've been saying it for 2 years. He will not be sold. And whilst he's part of our squad, managers will continue to use him. I don't know whether he makes the tea or something in the training or he washes everyone's car. He must do something right because we've had 3 managers now who seem unable to move away from the fact that he's rubbish. I tell you what, I'll stick on this point. It is, I'm just watching the penalty now. It's a penalty. He's clumsy. He's late. It's easy. There's no qualms about it. If somebody wants to say that that's not a penalty, he's not the ball past him, and Fellaini goes into him. He's losing his balance, but Fellaini makes contact. It's a penalty. There we go. But just back on this, Mourinho said in August, I'm going to make Manchester United fans love Fellaini. And I hated the comment then, and he had a couple of okay performances, and everyone was like, you've got to back him. Mourinho is telling us to back him. I didn't like that comment then, and I hate it even more now. It's mugging off United fans who've been watching United for the time that Fellaini's been here, which is, well, is it 3 years now? 3 years of hell? And we're like, sorry, I think you're the right man, but don't tell us to love a player that we've watched more than you in a United shirt, and he's rubbish. And I can't believe he's there today. And I think the bad thing about him being there today is probably reflected in the fact that Rooney was suspended. Because would he have been on the bench if Rooney had not been suspended? Probably not. And that, I'm not blaming Rooney by any means, but he didn't need to be on the bench anyway. He didn't. I'm clutching at straws. He didn't need to be on the bench today. Schweinsteiger should have been on the bench. He played really well for that cameo. George, there's a lot of swearing in the live comments, which I'm sure you're all reading about. Dylan Sarker saying, Mark, you can keep backing Jose, but you know the truth. And I think you're sort of trying to make me say I don't back the manager. But the reality is, I do back the manager. I do think he's the right man. But what I cannot do is find an excuse for that. I can't find one. I can't, and that's why I've got to be honest. I can't find an excuse for it. I can't logically see why he did it. I don't understand why we can all see that Fellaini's crap, but he can't. I don't know why you'd bring him on in that situation. I don't know why you'd feel hard done by when he goes and does what we've seen him do millions of times. But up until that, the performance was spot on. Their tactics were brilliant. The lineup was spot on. The individual performances were great. I was really pleased with that team performance in a difficult, hard game where Everton were everything I thought they would be. But to gift it away to make that substitution at the end, it just ruins everything that's been before. I'm baffled by it. I cannot go past that. I'd have to try and find some positives from the performance. I thought Herrera was good. I think Carrick was everything he should be. I thought Martial played really well, like I said, set the goal up, kept working. I thought Mkhitaryan did well. I thought Zlatan and Pogba weren't as good as I would have expected, but that's not why we lost the game. I think we're awful on crosses. There was a couple of crosses. Again, we're just terrible. We need a centre-back who can deal with crosses because we're just awful at crosses, and Everton didn't take advantage of that today. But Darko says, Everton were horrible today. Why do you think we're having problems scoring that second goal? I don't think Pogba was that good today. I thought he had a lot of good opportunities in the final third, and his passing was off. We just didn't go in we couldn't kill them off because I think Juan Mata would have been useful today, but he's never going to sub Pogba. He's never going to sub Zlatan. I'm going to discuss that more in depth on 8:30 on the Sunday show. But we lost that game, and I believe we've lost top 4 today because we brought Fellaini on, and there's only one man who made that decision, and I find it madness. I do. I find it absolutely madness. But there we go. Let's take some of your comments. He's like a bull in a china shop, says Levan. Mourinho or Fellaini? Sell Fellaini to Sunderland, says Jeremy. They'd love him. Pat Petter's son says many reasons for not taking Zlatan out. Hold up, play defensive set places, although should not be on top when we counter attack. Mata and Bay were on the bench, says Sully Tube. I think he's saying why. I think Mourinho won't let Fellaini near the first team, our bench team again after that, says Danny Cullen. I hope you're right, Danny, but he should have learnt that message a long time ago. He should never be in a Manchester United shirt again, but he should have learnt that a long time ago, and it's terrifyingly sad that he did it. Red One, Jose's criminal acts as United manager this season. 1, parking the bus too early. 2, insists on playing Fellaini. 3, not subbing Zlatan. Giggsy says that Fellaini just does what he's told and that's why he gets used, says Gaz. I don't think he was told to come on and give the penalty. And Finnis says, from the moment I saw the sub, I knew it. I think we tweeted it as well. It was the one thing I didn't want to be right about, because we needed to win this game, and we all saw it coming. He's a shocking player, and it was a shocking substitution. Right, I'm going to have a lie down, and we'll be back at half 8 to digest. I think the big question to talk about at half 8 on the Sunday night show. We've got Joey and Alex on, and all you lot on the live comments. I think top 4's gone. I think you've got to talk about why never sub Zlatan and Pogba. I think we'll obviously be talking about Fellaini. I think it's been a great show, and I know we're all frustrated. So do join us again at half 8. But I'm baffled. I will not excuse Mourinho for it. It was stupidity typified, and Fellaini should never be in a United shirt again. But we've said it for so long. I'm sure his contract's nearly up. He'll probably get a new contract next. But as long as he's anywhere near a Manchester United squad, we will fail.